Hey, it's Brenda with Izzy Big Quilts. I'm here to give you part 2 of our Serendipity Infinity quilt. So this is going to take you to completion, and I hope you enjoy it. So I'm going to walk you through it as we go. So let me point you down here. So last time we were together, we ended with strip sets that look like this. And the next thing you're going to do is take these strip sets and you're going to cut them into segments that look like this. Now I can't give you the exact sizes because it's not my pattern, but we're going to go from there. So we have these segments, and you also have squares like this. So you're going to take your square, and you can do this in several different ways. I like to draw a line from corner to corner. So you just want to line your ruler up right there with that corner, and then this corner down here, and draw a line corner to corner. Now you can also do that if you want to be more accurate by lining up this 45-degree angle line on your ruler with the edge of your square, and that's going to give you the same mark. Okay, so that gives you corner to corner on your square. Then you're going to take this, I have a couple of them marked already. You're going to take this and you're going to line it up with the corners of your block. Okay, just like this. If you want, you can put a pin in there to hold it in place. Then we're going to take it to the sewing machine. I'm going to spin you around a little bit right here. This is my Juki DDL 8100E. It is a industrial machine, and I like to use it for piecing because it's fast. Now, you're going to stitch corner to corner on your line, but you're going to try to stitch just one thread width away to the inside of your line, because when you fold this over, it's a technical term is the fold of cloth. When you fold that over, if you stitch directly on that line, it's not going to come out. It's not going to come all the way to the end. So you want to allow for that by stitching just inside your marked line. Just like that. Now this machine doesn't cut its own threads or anything like this, so you just sew a little further and you clip the threads from behind. Now the next step with this is we want to test it and see that our line, that our stitch is going to give us the same outline as our block was originally, and it does, so we're good. So the next thing that this pattern wants you to do is to take and mark the same square a 1/2 inch away from your stitch line. And I'll explain to you why in a few minutes. But so you're gonna put your 1/4 inch, your 1/2 inch line right on top of that stitch line, and you're gonna mark another sewing line right there. Then you're going to come along and you're going to sew directly on this line. You don't have to worry about being a stitch width over on this one. So you're just going to sew it all the way down. Okay, and then if I can find my scissors. Hold on a minute, guys. Okay, I'm back. So here we are, here's our block, and we have 2 lines, 2 stitching lines. We're going to cut halfway between those 2 rows of stitching, just like that. This piece looks like this. And we're going to set that aside because we're going to use that for something else. Now, you can either press this now or you can press it later. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to finger press it, and because this is on the bias, try not to distort it by pressing too hard. Turn your block around and take another white square. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to line it up on the corners. I'm going to put a pin in there to hold it, just like we did before. I'm going to take it over to the sewing machine, and I'm going to stitch again 1 thread width away from my drawn line. And then cut it. Now, that's a little crooked, but I think it'll be all right. I'm going to test it and make sure that it's going to cover my edges, and it will. So now I'm going to draw another line. You can also use this little device right here to draw your lines. This is a OmniGrid's Fons and Porter ruler, and it is designed for drawing your lines, but in this particular case you have to go all the way, use the full width of it. So I'm going to draw my line. Stitch again, stitch right on off, cut my threads, and that was nice because it just broke my bobbin, but that's okay because we're done. And we're going to cut this again. Now, you wind up with another one of these. So with each square that you make, you wind up with 2 of these. 1 red unit and one, in this case, 1 red unit and 1 green unit. Now, I decided to use these for my border on my quilt, and I'll show you how that turns out. But you can do all kinds of things with them. You can make a quilt all its own, which I'll show you also. So now we're going to press this. I'm turning around to my iron here. And there's really no need to press the seams open, because when you join these squares together, they're not going to want to stay together when you press open. It's easier to just press them to one side. And some of them you're going to want to press to the dark side, and some of them you're going to want to press to the light side, or just don't. It doesn't matter, because when you sew them together, you'll see why. So now I'm going to make a couple more of these blocks, and then I'm going to show you how to put them together. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have 4 of these blocks made. And you see, it doesn't matter which side you start with. Well, what you're going to do is you're going to turn these to where they create an X in the middle, like that. And then you want to join them just like joining any 4-patch. So, and then this becomes your main block, and then you make an assortment of these blocks, and you sew your blocks together. So I'm going to sew these together. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. Turn you just a little bit. And you can pin if you want to pin. I'm not a big pinner. And I didn't square these blocks up before I'm putting them together, so you'll forgive me for that. But as long as you match those seams right there, you should be good to go. This is a 1/4 inch foot on this machine, so I know approximately where my 1/4 inch is. This is a good, this is a really good block for chain piecing also, by the way. So now you have 2, and the 2 will now become 1. So again, you just want to match up that center seam, and because I didn't square this block up, it's a little bigger, but I know how to adjust for that. So I'm going to, here I like to open the seams up a little bit. It makes it a little easier when I go to long arm it. And you might want to pin here to get that center right. So right in there. And then, because I know this block is a little bigger than it should be, I'm gonna leave that there as extra seam allowance. I can trim that later if I want to. And I'm just gonna fold that seam that way because I've got this one going to the left. So I'm gonna make this one go to the right. It'll give me a nested seam, which will be a little easier. And it'll press that direction. And I'm gonna do the same on this one. I'm gonna make one seam go to the left and one to the right. And I'm gonna put a little pin in there to try to make sure I get that seam to match up. And I'm gonna come down here and I'm going to, now don't run over your seam, your needle with your pins with your needle. Your machine won't like you much if you do. Bring that back together. There we go. And now you have what I affectionately call an X block. And then you press that down real good, trim it up to the size that you have to have them, and then you sew all your blocks together. And now I'm going to show you what the finished quilt looks like. Hang on. Okay, I'm back, and here is the finished quilt. You'll have to forgive my room here. We're in the middle of construction again, or destruction, I'm not sure which. Anyway, this is what the finished quilt looks like. And I think she turned out absolutely beautiful. Now, I haven't pressed this one real good, so, you know, she's not real flat at this moment. But you see, I put a large border, a large white border on it here. And then all of those extra little pieces that we had left over from cutting the block, I turned them. I wanted to make a continuous ribbon, so I made a ribbon border using these blocks simply by turning them in different directions. Here's the other one. So see how you do that? and then you just run it and you swap them back and forth. And I just made a continuous border all the way around. And now, there's so many of these little extra pieces that I also got two other things that I did with this. This is going to be a pillow. It's a pretty big one, actually. But this one, I made chevrons, and you can see again, it's just a matter of how you turn these little guys. And how you line them up. So that's the chevron. And then I don't know what you'd call this. It's a diamond of some sort. There's a name for it, but you know, it eludes me at the moment. And again, it is all how you turn it. So, see, by sewing them together that way and then putting them in a long line, I have, I think, a pretty adorable little table runner. I'm probably going to put a border on it. I'm thinking, because it's not quite big enough. And I have a few more pieces now. I'm probably going to extend it out a little more. But so that's it. So that is the end. Well, basically, the end of Serendipity Infinity. Check out the Izzy B website. I will post pictures after I get it quilted and bound and ready to go online to be sold. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.